One of the things that will keep you unprofitable as a trader is the wrong use of time frames, because whether you know it or not, every move you see in the market is calculated with time. And so in this video, I'm going to be explaining how to use your time frame and how best you can see your concepts on each time frame. I have heard a lot of people ask, where am I supposed to mark out my break of structure? Where am I supposed to see liquidity on any of these time frames? Because we have a whole lot of time frames, starting from 24 hours to down to 1 minute time frame. We have a whole lot of time frame. So the first thing we want to do is that we're going to be segmenting our time frames into 3 parts. Of course, you don't have to use all the time frame that you see in the market. So the first part is higher time frame. The second part is middle time frame, and the third part is what we call the lower time frame. Now you're going to pick 1 or 2 of these time frames and put it in this segment. So personally for me, I put my weekly and daily time frame on the higher time frame. Then my middle time frame, I use 4 hours and I use 2 hours on my middle time frame. And then for my lower time frame, I work well with 30 minutes and 15 minutes. Now you don't have to do exactly what I did, but you have to segment it. Which one works better for you? Which of this time frame better displays your concept? Now, since you've segmented it, the next thing you want to do is that you write out all your concept. You write out all the concepts that you're using. So personally, I use break of structure, liquidity, point of interest, entry confirmation. And if you've been able to write those things down and you know exactly what to look out for in the market, now you pick each of these time frames and put all those segmented concepts and put it in each of these time frame. Now, what do I mean by this? We do not have access to weekly time frame on this trading view, but I'm going to use 24 hours time frame. Now, I am going to be putting my break of structure. I'm going to be marking out my real break of structure right from the higher time frame. And you can see I have my break of structure marked to the upside here. Now, on this higher time frame, this is not a break of structure for me. Take a look at it. This is not a break of structure for me on the higher time frame. I am not classifying that as a break of structure. Now on the middle time frame, that can be a break of structure for me, but on the higher time frame, this was where we have the last break of structure because we've not had a good retracement back into this zone. But on the 4 hours time frame, you're going to see this as a break of structure, and that is why on the 4 hours, when market took out this low, you are definitely going to be calling it your break of structure, that market wants to continue the sell setup. But for me, on this higher time frame, we do not have a break of structure yet, right? So I have marked out my break of structure right on the higher time frame. And the next thing I want to do is look out for the liquidity market is willing to come back to take on the higher time frame. Then I will mark out my point of interest, and then I would wait for my entry confirmation, right? I am doing all of that on the higher time frame, marking out my liquidity. These are liquidity for me. All these are liquidity. So I am expecting market to come back to take them. I marked out my PO high on the higher time frame, and I'm waiting for entry confirmation at this POI. But I am not going to be waiting for market to display all of that before I trade. And that is why I am going to be going to my 4 hours time frame, which is the mid time frame. So when I go to my 4 hours time frame, I repeat the same process. Where was our last break of structure on the 4 hours time frame? Where is the liquidity market is expected to come back to take on the 4 hours time frame? And where is the possible point of interest I can use for a continuation on the 4 hours time frame? Now, I already established what higher time frame is, and you can see that we already have a confirmation. We already have a confirmation on this mid time frame based on what our higher time frame has given to us. So I have my confirmation here. Now, where is my real break of structure on this 4 hours time frame, or where is my last break of structure on the 4 hours time frame? I am going to be marking this out as my last break of structure on this 4 hours time frame. Why? Because you can see that this was the last area we had real retracement to the downside, and after that, market has not given us a real retracement. So I am marking that out based on my mid time frame. Then the next thing I would do is go on my lower time frame and repeat the same process. Where was the last break of structure on the lower time frame? Where is the liquidity I am expecting market to come back to take? Where is the PO high that is possible for market to use for that continuation? That is what I am also going to repeat on the lower time frame. However, the higher time frame already give me that clue of where we are going to. The 4 hours time frame has established it, which is my mid time frame. It's already established that there is already a confirmation for where our higher time frame is going to, and the 30 minutes is just for me to execute, which is the lower time frame. The 30 minutes is for me to execute and move in the direction that 4 hours already established, that I have already seen on the higher time frame. So you don't have to confuse yourself. Just mark out, break down your time frame into these three concepts. Which one works better for you? Break down your concept and repeat the same process on each of these time frames. I hope you guys have learned one or two things from this video. If you have a question, drop it in the comments, and do not forget to click the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, because I am going to be teaching different strategies on how to trade the financial market, even if you are a beginner. So I'm going to see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.